Let's stop and think, my people. In the lush, hilly kingdom of Akarama, carved between rolling forests and whispering streams, the people lived in harmony with the spirits of the land. They were governed by a council of elders and a wise king chosen not by birth, but by destiny, a destiny revealed by the sacred stool of Akarama. It was no ordinary seat. Carved from the heartwood of a tree said to have grown from the tears of the first mother, the stool was blackened by age, adorned with sacred symbols, and rested upon a base shaped like the crouching leopard, a symbol of strength and vision. It was believed that only the one whose spirit aligned with the stool could sit on it without being violently thrown off. Once every 30 years, when the constellation of the leopard aligned in the night sky, the stool would be brought out under the great baobab in the palace square, and the rite of sitting would begin. Any man or woman of Akarama, regardless of status, could try to sit on it. The chosen one would receive visions from the ancestors and be named the next ruler. But for 28 years now, the stool had rejected everyone, and then, the king died. In the outermost village of Akarama, a 17-year-old orphan named Mecha lived with his aging aunt. He had no noble blood, no land, and no interest in power. But strange things had begun happening to him. He would wake up speaking old words from a lost dialect. Birds followed him when he walked to the stream. And most haunting of all, he kept dreaming of a leopard sitting beneath the sacred stool, staring at him with golden eyes. Mecha, you must go to the city and witness the rite, his aunt told him one morning as they stirred cassava over the fire. He laughed. Me, that stool will break my back before it accepts me. But her eyes were serious. This is not a joke. I have kept this from you for too long. Your mother was once considered a potential heir. She died during the last rite trying to sit on that stool. His heart skipped. You never told me. She was strong and brave. But the stool rejected her. Still, something passed to you. The signs are clear. You must go, Mecha. Reluctantly, Mecha left for the capital, Azumba, where the final rite was to take place. The city was alive with excitement. Merchants shouted, elders chanted prayers, and guards stood watch over the stool under the ancient baobab tree. 10 contestants stepped forward, sons of chiefs, daughters of merchants, warriors. Each walked to the stool with confidence. One by one, the stool flung them off, some gently, some with force that sent them tumbling into the dust. Then came a girl named Xena, daughter of a healer. As she approached the stool, the air changed. She reached out, but before she could touch it, a wind swept through the plaza, knocking her back. The elders gasped. The ancestors are angry, one whispered. It was nearly sunset, and the crowd began to murmur that the kingdom would remain without a ruler. Then, unexpectedly, Mecha stepped forward. The people laughed. Is that a shepherd boy? Where's his clan? He doesn't even wear a proper wrapper. But the head elder, Esnawafa, raised his hand. The rite is open to all. Let him try. Mecha took a deep breath and walked forward. As his feet touched the stone steps beneath the baobab, a strange silence fell. Even the birds quieted. The stool, once motionless, began to hum softly, so soft only the elders noticed. Mecha placed his hand on the armrest. Nothing happened. He sat and the stool did not move. For a heartbeat, all of Akarama stood still. The sacred stool of destiny, silent for nearly 3 decades, had accepted someone. Not a chief, not a warrior, but Mecha, the boy with no name, no cattle, and no family to boast of. Whispers raced through the crowd like fire on dry grass. He's sitting, but how? Is this a trick? The elders stepped closer, their faces shadowed with wonder and fear. Elder Esnawafa, the oldest among them, leaned in and asked the question every ancestor-bound soul must hear. What do you see? Mecha's eyes were open, but glazed. His lips moved without sound. Then, a single word escaped his mouth: fire. The baobab leaves rustled though no wind passed. The stool glowed faintly beneath him, and the crouching leopard carved into its base gleamed with a strange shimmer. Mecha gasped. He was no longer in the square. He stood in a vast plain surrounded by giants with animal heads and golden staffs. One stepped forward. It had the body of a woman and the head of a black leopard. She spoke in the ancient tongue. "You are the child of the forgotten flame. The stool has called you, but the kingdom is cracked. You must mend the tear." Mecha fell to his knees. "But I am nothing, just a boy," she interrupted, eyes fierce. "Blood does not make a ruler. Spirit does. You must uncover the secret your mother died for. Until then, the stool's gift will fade." With a roar, everything vanished. When Mecha awoke, the elders were arguing. "He cannot be crowned. He has no lineage. The stool chose him. The ancestors have spoken. He must be tested." As the debate raged, a dark voice cut through the crowd like a cold knife. "I will test him." Heads turned. Standing by the gate was a tall, thin man dressed in dark green barkcloth, his face covered with white chalk. His name was Ajani, the last sorcerer of the Western Hills, feared for his dealings with spirits both light and dark. He raised his staff. "If this boy is truly the chosen, let him pass the trial of the Talking Hills." A murmur rippled through the crowd. That trial had not been attempted in 70 years. It was a deadly path guarded by restless ancestors and wild spirits. Elder Nawafa hesitated. "It is too dangerous." Mecha stepped forward. "I will go." The elder turned to him. "Why?" "Because the leopard said the kingdom is cracked. I must mend it. If that path holds the truth, I will walk it." The elder sighed. "Then prepare. You leave at dawn." Mecha's journey began with only a gourd of water, a charm from his aunt, and a carved leopard tooth given by Elder Nawafa. He traveled through whispering forests and red clay valleys until he reached the Talking Hills, a place where even brave hunters dared not go. The hills shimmered strangely in the sun, and from a distance, one could hear laughter, cries, and sometimes the sound of drums with no source. As he stepped into the valley, the air thickened. A voice echoed from the stones. "Who walks among the sleeping truths?" Mecha swallowed his fear. "I am Mecha, son of the forgotten. I come for truth." A low growl answered. "Then face your blood." Suddenly, a figure appeared before him. A woman, regal and fierce, his mother, though he'd never seen her face before. "Why did you come?" she asked. "I seek to mend what is broken." She smiled. "Then you must know what was lost." She pointed to a cave hidden between the hills. "Inside lies the truth Akarama buried. But beware, some truths cut deeper than lies." Inside the cave, Mecha found a mural painted in faded ochre and coal. It depicted a time before kings, when queens ruled Akarama. The stool was first carved for Queen Adunma, a warrior mother who ruled with wisdom and strength. But as generations passed, jealous warlords erased her legacy, claiming the stool only served men. Mecha's eyes widened. The truth was clear. The kingdom had rejected its true history. His mother, a descendant of Adunma, was rejected not because she lacked spirit, but because she was a woman. The stool had remained silent ever since. Mecha fell to his knees and wept. Not just for his mother, but for the soul of Akarama, twisted by lies. As he stood, a soft light glowed behind him. The leopard spirit appeared again. "You have seen. Now you must speak." Mecha emerged from the Talking Hills at sunrise. His clothes were torn, and dust clung to his face, but his eyes burned with truth. He returned to the capital, Azumba, just as the council gathered to decide whether to accept him as ruler. They did not expect him to survive. When he appeared, silence swallowed the square. Elder Nawafa approached him, his face unreadable. "Did you learn anything?" Mecha stepped forward, holding a small, flat stone wrapped in bark. This was hidden in the cave of the ancestors. It bears the symbol of Queen Adunma, the first to sit on the stool. The one history tried to erase. Gasps filled the air. "This stool was not made for men alone," Mecha said loudly, lifting his voice. "It was made for truth. For spirit, for the one whose heart aligns with the ancestors. My mother was rejected, not by the stool, but by a council that had forgotten our origins. He turned toward the people. Akarama is cracked, not because the stool failed us, but because we failed it. The elders murmured. A few lowered their eyes in shame. Ajani, the sorcerer, stepped forward. Words are wind. What proof do we have this boy isn't manipulating spirits to gain power? Mecha raised the leopard tooth charm. If the stool still accepts me, let me sit again. The square fell deathly quiet. Mecha approached the stool slowly. The air shimmered around him. He placed the flat stone at its base, an offering to the ancestors, and knelt. I do not come for a crown, he said, voice shaking with purpose. I come to restore balance. He sat this time. The stool glowed brightly, pulsing like a living heart. A warm breeze circled him, lifting the dust around the square in spirals. The crouching leopard on the stool came alive, its stone form flickering as if breathing. The spirit of Queen Adunma appeared behind him, visible to all. She raised her hand over Mecha's head. This is the heir of truth. Let the land know peace again. And just like that, the vision faded. The elders knelt. Even Ajani bowed his head. Mecha was not crowned in a palace. Instead, he stood beneath the great baobab, surrounded by the people of every village, tribe, and clan. I will not rule as a king of stone walls and golden cups, he said. I will lead as a servant of truth. He reformed the council to include women and youth. He declared that no heir would be chosen by blood, but by spirit, through the stool, every 30 years. He preserved the murals found in the Talking Hills and had them painted across village walls for all to see. But perhaps the greatest change came when he declared the stool a symbol not of royalty, but of unity. Each year, during the Leopard Festival, a new person would sit upon it, not to gain power, but to share their vision for Akarama's future. Years passed. Mecha ruled not with an iron fist, but with a listening ear. The rivers ran cleaner, the markets grew busier, and peace returned to the land. Children no longer feared the story of the stool. Instead, they sang about Queen Adunma and the boy who walked with the leopard. And when Mecha finally grew old, he returned to the Talking Hills, not to die, but to whisper thanks to the ancestors who guided him. There, under the stars, he buried his staff and sang to the spirits. Let the truth never sleep again. Thank you for watching Tales by Dansophia. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe, like, leave a comment, and share with others. Your support helps us keep telling powerful and inspiring stories. See you in the next tale.